What's up, guys? And today we're going to take a look at another one of my girlfriend's suits that she built, and it is, of course, the HG Quebley Papillon from Gundam Build Fighters, the first series. And this was one of the earlier ones that she worked on, and honestly, that's going to kind of show in the level of quality, but she didn't do a bad job by any means. But if you guys know this kit, it's a bit of a bear. It is based off the old HG Quebley, but the problem is that the Quebley Revive came out very shortly after this, and they should have based it off of that instead. But you know, it is what it is, guys. They did what they could. I mean, the whole point of the Build Fighters series and line was to revive old kits, no pun intended, and give them new life and a little bit of new custom ideas. But we'll get into that more whenever we look at the actual kit itself. Let's look at the box, because of course, HG Build Fighters, you get all the cool fun stuff going on in the background. You got these nice explosions in space. You've got the Quebley right here. Now, I don't know if it's actually Papillon, like French, or Papillon. Papillon. I'm going to say Papillon. I don't really care. But, you know, say it however you wish. I'm not sure. But a big, elegant, and fairly frightening suit because, of course, in the series, nobody knew how it was attacking people. It just knew that he was wiping them, you know, off the face of the board or whatever, like invisibly killing them. And of course, we all know it was from, you know, clear funnels that were flying around. But sadly, this didn't come with clear funnels for some dumb reason. But yeah, let's look at the rest of the box here. We got Quebley Papillon, Build a Fighter, Isla Yurkiainen, custom-made mobile suit. And she was really, really awesome in this thing, especially with her given ability to see the flow of particles. Now come over here, we get a great action shot of it standing there just looking all big. We get armaments. You get the weird butt funnel device. Yeah, I know what I just said. And then, I guess it's just showing that chest bit can flap up and down. You got some detail work here on the tip of the thingy. And then you've got beam sabers. We're going to talk about those when we get that far. You got different hand parts. You've got shoulder binders that move in a very terrible manner. And then you get cool action flying pose there. Come on here. Repeat of the box art. Quebley Papillon, number 11 in the line. So that was when it was still a really short kind of line. BandaiHobby.net. Bandai logo there. And actually, it's really nice box art. Big pointy fingers is. Come on here. And you get the obligatory front and rear shots there. It looks really funny and insect-like from the backside. And of course, you found out that, you know, the Quebley and a lot of the suits that look a lot like it came from a very specific designer back in the day. And that's why it looks the way it does. And you actually get the specs here. I like that. So you get the actual model number, the NMX004. It's 18.9 meters tall, 40.1 tons. That's pretty heavy. And then you get a read up here that I can't read because it's in Japanese and I am not. And then, of course, the Build Fighter story right there. Gundam-bf.net. Go check that out if that website is still around. And of course, come over here. Do not stick Quebleys in your 3-year-old's face. It will hurt them. And then another obligatory warning of some sort. You got the little guy with the toilet. PE, PSP. Or I'm sorry, PPE, PSP. Yay. I'm really close to the camera, guys. Really close. You know, 2,000 yen because, you know, there's a lot of plastic. It's a sizable kit, guys, for an HG. Then you got illustrated by Koma and background image by Yamamoto Hiroyuki, a couple of my favorite artists. Even as awesome as this suit is, it can't resist being upside down. Actually, it looks kind of cool upside down. It looks like some really weird, like... Actually, it looks very plant-like, doesn't it? Like it's reaching upward and with all its stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this girl out of the display and check her out. Alright, guys, so here we have the Quebley Papillon in a weird flying stance. Now, I don't actually keep it displayed like this. I just thought it would be funny because they do actually give you a stand with this, and it does give you the forward swept, like flying motion here, and it's quite funny. I mean, I guess you can make it work, you know, something like this. It's not terrible. It's just funny. Looks kind of like a butterfly coming at you to kill you. Now I'm going to go ahead and take it off the stand here. Put it back on the normal upright stand just for fun. Plug that in there. Now, even for an old HG kit design, this thing, it's not bad. It's really, really not. Though some of the new designs, I believe, is what actually causes it to have a little bit of hindrance with these new binders and stuff like that. But the design is actually pretty neat. I do like this cool blue, tealish type color. It's pretty cool. And then you get the offset with the metallic orangey red color. Now, the only thing that's sort of lacking is the fact that, you know, those can light up whenever she's in full, I don't remember what that mode was called. Whatever the system was that they had her plugged into. You know, these things would react whenever she was in full release or whatever. It was pretty neat, actually. It's pretty cool. I like it. And it is, of course, very nice pink and blue and purple colors. I mean, the Quebley was always interesting, you know, with its white and purple colors to begin with, and then later on with the red. And there may have been like a dark purple one. I can't recall. But this one's pretty neat. I like the big pointy shoes going on. I don't know if the original one had those, but definitely didn't have the like flame licked effects here. Though for me, you know, I think Isla was technically supposed to be German. I think she was working with Team Nemesis and stuff like that, which I believe is supposed to be a German company. And this thing doesn't, at least to me, doesn't look very German. I mean, European maybe, especially with the big lance, but I think it almost looks more Spanish with some of these details. Maybe even a tiny bit Mexican. You know, not as an insult, but just like the flair that it has going on. And it's pretty cool. I do like it. And this thing is a sizable kit. Let's see here. I don't have a normal HG laying around to compare it to. But hey, we know how big Wally is. So that's her compared to Wally. So that is a pretty good sized HG. I mean, really. I mean, it was 20. It was 2,000 yen. So, I mean, you're paying for a lot of plastic with this girl. Now, she does come with some accessories. Not a lot, but some. And of course you see the big weapon accessory there with her big old lance. Now she does come with an assortment of hands. So you get a couple of closed hands. There's two of them on her already. So you got one with a square opening and one with a rounder opening. It's not necessarily round, but rounder. Now why the different hands? I honestly don't really know. She only holds one or two things maximum, and I don't see the difference. Otherwise, it's exactly the same kind of hand. You see the opening is essentially the same, all that. So, I don't know. There has to be a purpose to it, just don't know. She does actually come with a good open expressive hand, which honestly we had never used these. These are still on the runner. I cut them off just for this purpose. And I kind of want to put one on this hand. Put a nice big expressive hand on here. There we go. So now she can be flying with some anger. There we go. That's a little bit better. I do like those expressive hands. They do come in handy. Puns. Puns, guys. Now, she did come with a couple accessories I wasn't really aware of because, once again, I didn't build this kit. My girlfriend did, and I was working on something else, so I paid not a whole lot of attention to what she was doing, if I'm totally honest. Beam sabers. I don't recall her. She might have used the beam saber once or twice, maybe in the final couple fights before it was destroyed. But this is the first time I've seen these. I mean, mind you, this is based off an old kit. The blade and the handle are molded together, like just in the same clear plastic. They don't even give you like a sticker to wrap around that. I guess you're just supposed to, you know, paint them. But she does actually have the unlit beam sabers here on her forearms, if I can actually get them to come out. These little pink guys here. I don't know if that flips out or not. Maybe it just plugs in there. I can't get the dang thing out of there. Come on. Okay, so it plugs into the hole. That's what it does. I need some tweezers. can't get them out of. I can't get it out of there. Either way, you can see the pink handle just plugs in very kind of sneakily into the forearm. So that's what they should look like, but instead, they look like these. So it is what it is. Never going to use these. They'll just go back in the box with all the spare hands. Now, if we want to go ahead and take a quick look at her lance, you do get the enclosed hand. I do believe this is the proper hand for this, because I don't think... Which one is it, anyways? Can't see. I think it's just the... Yeah, it's just a square hand. So, I don't know. And one thing for the life of me, I can't figure out is why she has a standard, like, almost pistol grip. Like, as far as I know, she never held it like that. But I guess she can. Let's see here. Pop the hands open. Of course, these are the same... Actually, I was going to say they're the same kind of HG hands, but obviously they're a much older kind of HG hand. How does this thing come apart? Okay. I was doing it wrong. Doing it wrong! Okay, so that just plugs in like that. Okay, so now you've got the square hand. I assume that she can just plug that right in there. Actually, that is a fairly snug fit. Once again, I don't know why she would... I get holding guns if she had something like that. That would totally make sense for this particular weapon. Although that looks pretty awesome. That's that's entirely not what's intended, I think. But it looks pretty cool in and of itself. Now, this thing has some of the weirdest articulation. We'll go ahead and look at that in a second. It's hindered in the same way that a lot of the sleeves kind of suits are. Like the Sazabi and the Sinanju, where they have these giant kind of hands going on. Mind you, she doesn't have a whole lot of weapons to hold, so it's not that big a deal. But where these big sleeves get in the way and hinder. And then, of course, it has movement in places that are so strange. We'll look at that in a second. Let's look at some of the details real quick, if I can get her off the stand. That's a really tight peg. So come in close. You can see here, even though it's in the dark, the eyes are right down inside there, like just behind the crazy visor, of which the sticker barely fits properly. So you do get some green eyes back inside there, if you guys can see it, in the weird kind of grilled smiley face there. And this camera sticker that is honestly just not great. It's not even recessed, it's nothing, it's just right there on the surface. I do dig the hoses and the kind of heat exchanger sort of thing there, and these big strappy hosey kind of things, and then of course the chest flap. No idea, it just works. I'm sure it has something more to do with the way originally the way the Quebley is supposed to transform into its sub mode or whatever it is, but other than that, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, you get the cool effect stickers, and yeah, even though it's molded in the plastic, you have to put these on unless you're going to paint it. I did try to talk her into using the red metallic paints, which actually would have been way more pink now that I think about it, but it actually came out pretty good. A good copper would probably not go amiss there. I remember these on the knees were kind of a pain in the butt, and wrapping the ones around the skirts here were also a pain in the butt. Now, I do believe, yep, okay, so one problem with these is it is like an old HG kit. It's molded, even though you got seam lines coming this way, or, you know, those panel lines, it's seam lined right down the middle, and they try to hide it just with a, you know, panel line at the same time. But yeah, these legs split right down the middle, all the way down. The feet, no, the feet are fairly solid. They're not split that way. But you can see the stickers are, so you apply one to one side, one to the other, and they're okay. It's just, these are a pain in the butt. Now, one thing that's lacking is something here. These were supposed to have markings as well, but they don't. I think all of the legs, all of these spots on the legs should have had markings, but they did not exist. And I do believe the backside, all of these should have had markings. We just shaded them with the panel line marker, like a standard old panel line marker. I think the shading looks actually really good. Same thing with these spots. The shading is nice. I did teach her how to do that a little bit. She's not keen on doing a ton of detail work. She likes doing stickers and things like that, but not panel lining or anything like that. So I had to really convince her to do it for this. Of course, right here you can see, actually that's two wraparound stickers. So one comes up here, one comes up here, the way they go around the side skirts. So that's kind of cool. I like these big purple, like layered armored vent thingies here on the back of the legs. That's pretty neat. And these feet are like crazy. Mind you, I think it's because they're supposed to transform, at least for the standard Quebley. That's why they look like that, but the detail is really nice. Even on the bottom, that's pretty cool. I like that. And as far as I know, this thing, of course, doesn't have a transformation mode, but the binders do move around. And we'll look at that here when we get into those in articulation. Now, the head, I didn't even mention this. It has this giant, and this is part of the original Quebley design, it has this big, long plant or insect-like back of the head, but it's also very much like the aliens from Aliens, so like a xenomorph. The one cool thing is the way it articulates and the way it's supposed to transform. The neck is really long. You can see in there. It's actually some nice molded detail. We didn't really do any work for that, but it would be pretty cool. Part of me wants to get a standard Quebley or even the Revive just to see the real differences, but I don't know. I don't have an invested interest in it. I just think that might be cool. Now, of course, the rest of our articulation is a little limited. Can you turn the head? I think you can. Should be able to. You get a very little rotation in the head. You, of course, get the up and down, but not really any rotation. That kind of sucks. But she doesn't need to look side to side or at all. Why? Why would you need to look? Okay, let's see here if I can move these binders around, get some room to move the arms. So you can go all the way around when the binders are in the right spot. You do get a cutout for the arm, so you can reach sideways really well. If you... No, so now she's just very... No! Okay. Okay, rotate that way. It's very, very careful in the finagling. So you can almost get a high teacher. So she can just wave like that. Now this one is weird because the rotation is not at the bicep. It's in the middle of the elbow. You guys can see it right there. So it has a single jointed elbow on the bottom. It doesn't even get 90 degrees, and that's where the rotation is. That's scary. And we've already seen how the wrist works, so... Man, these binders really annoy me. One, because they're just always in the way, and two, just finagling them on the multi joints here takes a lot of doing. So that's the standard position of the binders. So we'll leave it at that. You do get some good midsection movement here. Not really an ab crunch so much as it is just a flop. It's kind of nice. You do get full-on rotation, so she can go all the way around. Don't know how much leg articulation we got. Doesn't look like we're going to get a Van Damme or Jean-Claude because of the armor. Without it, probably could get some because it's got a good deep cutout at the top. Now you do get rotation right inside there at the hip, so you can go really nice high kick and back kick. So very good on the legs. Single jointed knee, limited by the armor. Can only get about there, not quite 90. And we talked about the foot a little bit. You get the toe point right there. And pretty much a standard ball jointed ankle. Yeah, I think you might be able to go all the way around. Yeah, you can go all the way around. And she'll stand on her own. It's just a little... Actually, she's planted pretty good. I thought maybe she'd fall over. It's actually not that heavy. It's actually well balanced for a kit that has so much going on. Now if we come to the back, underneath this little butt skirt going on here. Actually, yeah, that can go in and out a little bit. Okay, so she has the butt skirt. Once again, very insect-like, very plant-like. Almost looks like a strawberry. You have all the little funnels in there. We did them with just a gold tip. Just thought it'd be fun. It does flap. It can rotate if you pull it out a little bit. Of course, if you remove that entirely, you can get the head to fold back a lot more. But that's just a thing. It's a thing, guys. All right, let's talk binders up here. And you guys can see from the top, if I maneuver things... There we go. You can see how they work. So you've got a pivot joint here. A lot of, like, just... Okay, so it's a hinge, pivot, hinge, swivel, pivots, everything. So you got some swivel. You've got this way. They can rotate in all kinds of different directions, and they can also bind up in all kinds of directions. So you can kind of fold it in, and you can see that little bitty tab, maybe, if you saw it. You can see the tab right there sticking out, and it will... more or less peg in like that, and it's kind of secure that rear one like so. And this one is very limited in how it works. So you can't tilt it too the other one's in a way. You can't tilt it too far because of that bit. The way the old binders would work, I guess it was more or less like an old shoulder piece, would just kind of flop down, and that would be its sub mode or Wave Rider mode, whatever it technically was. Oh, it does have the same cutout so that you can line them up. So this is, if you line them up just like that, come on, cooperate. Cooperate, little lady. Okay, so if you do that number right there, that is how they are tabbed in, and just like as good as they're going to get. Of course, they move in all the ways that it could possibly bind up and not function properly, like so. Because you could do it like that for some reason, but you could. We did do a little bit of paint work inside here. That was a very, very sloppy silver marker, so it just kind of bled everywhere. No, look at the thing I want you to look at. No, stop looking at that. I can't block and do that. Okay. Either way, that's what that is. So, I like this kit. I do wish it was based off the Revive, not the original. It would probably just be a better kit. But it's pretty cool. I mean, it's first season of Build Fighters. They're doing what they could with old kits. Oh, I didn't really point out the lance. Would you face the right way there, camera? Thank you. The lance is pretty cool. It's, of course, her main weapon. You could definitely do some seam lining on this, make it look perfect. We added some gold, even though there's a orange metallic sticker that would totally go around that. And then same thing right there in the little kind of Vulcan cannons there. So that's it. That's it, guys. No more. And of course, you just unplug and insert into the hand. Insert it into the hand, and now you have the Quebley Papillon. Papillon. Now you do have to finagle those back binders. Those are the ones that get in the way and really annoy that more than anything. Okay, now we're gonna do a quick positioning job, guys. Posing is always important, guys, and don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. Okay, good enough. That's going to be it for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I've got a few Build Fighters kits, and the bigger ones my girlfriend built. So we also have Mrs. Zobby to look at down the line, maybe next time, because that is a really cool and really big kit as it is. So if you guys are new to the channel here, thank you for coming. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out all the other reviews. Check out the other HG reviews. There are lots and lots of Gunpla reviews on this channel, guys. Stick around for Master Grade Mondays if you haven't done that before. And check out the Shoky Quickies, because they don't always get a lot of love. Those are just like random nerdy things, along with showing off all the other kind of fandoms that I enjoy. And if you guys haven't yet, check out my 500 subscribers video where we are doing a Q&A in a couple weeks. I will link it in the end credits, and hopefully down below if I remember to do so, and maybe even a pop-up right across here. Go over there, leave a question for me, limit 3, but if you have a question for me regarding Gunpla, you just want to know about me, you want to know about my channel, as long as I feel I can answer it, I will do so. And like I said, welcome, guys. It's awesome to see the community growing as quick as it is, and let's just keep it going. And guys, remember, as always, keep on building.